Once upon a time, there was a young monk named Ming who was deeply devoted to the Buddha. He was a brilliant student and a gifted teacher, and he was loved and respected by all who knew him. One day, Ming approached the Buddha and said, "Master, I am struggling to understand the importance of silence. Can you please teach me more about it?" The Buddha smiled and said, "My dear Ming, silence is a powerful tool that can be used to cultivate wisdom, compassion, and peace. There are 10 situations in which it is always best to be silent. 1. When you are angry. When we are angry, our words can be like poison, causing great harm to ourselves and others. In these moments, it is best to remain silent and allow our anger to subside before we speak. 2. When you are speaking about someone who is not present. Gossip and slander are destructive forces that can tear apart communities and relationships. If we have something negative to say about someone, it is better to keep it to ourselves. 3. When you are unsure of what to say, it is perfectly acceptable to admit that we do not know something. In fact, it is a sign of wisdom and humility. When we are unsure, it is better to remain silent and listen to others. 4. When you are in a conflict. When we are arguing with someone, it is easy to say things that we later regret. Silence can help us to calm down and think more clearly, so that we can resolve the conflict peacefully. 5. When you are being criticized. It can be difficult to remain silent when we are being criticized, but if we react defensively, we are likely to escalate the situation. Silence can help us to stay calm and collected, and to respond in a more constructive way. 6. When you are feeling hurt or offended. It is natural to want to lash out when we are hurt or offended, but silence can help us to protect ourselves from further harm and to heal from our pain. 7. When you are in a situation where you cannot speak the truth. There are times when we may be tempted to lie or deceive others, but silence can be a more powerful tool. By remaining silent, we can maintain our integrity and avoid causing harm. 8. When you are in a situation where your words would be wasted. Sometimes we may try to convince someone to see things our way, but they are simply not open to listening. In these cases, it is best to remain silent and let them be. 9. When you are in a situation where you are not qualified to speak, it is important to be humble and to recognize our limitations. If we are not qualified to speak about a particular topic, it is better to remain silent and listen to those who are more knowledgeable. 10. When you are in a sacred space. Many religions and spiritual traditions encourage silence in sacred spaces. This is because silence can help us to connect with our inner selves and with the divine. Ming listened carefully to the Buddha's teachings. He realized that silence was not simply the absence of words, but rather a powerful tool for spiritual growth. From that day on, Ming strived to be silent in the 10 situations that the Buddha had taught him. He found that when he was silent, he was able to cultivate greater wisdom and compassion, maintain his peace and equanimity, resolve conflicts more peacefully, heal from hurt and offense, protect his integrity, avoid causing harm to others, be more effective in his communication, connect with his inner self and with the divine. Ming became known as one of the wisest and most compassionate monks in the Buddha's Sangha. He was able to use the power of silence to help others and to create a more harmonious world.